Yes, people, what's going on? Happy New Year's. Today we're going to be rating Galway's best gyms. Now, I've shortened the list down because there's quite a few. There's a lot of studios and there's a lot of leisure centres. So we're going to go with the commercial gyms. The big five, in my opinion. I am missing Energy. It's like a green logo. I have no experience with that gym, so I can't rate it. And there's loads of other places that I've worked in gyms, like leisure centres, like Spirit One, Energize, Core Fitness, and a couple of others where they're leisure centres. And again, we're going to keep it commercial and we're going to try and keep it nice and short. So whether you're looking to move gyms in Galway, whether you're interested in my opinion of the gyms, or you're not even from Galway and you're just a nosy cunt, this is the tier list for you. So before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, please. We're almost on the way to 600. That'd be fucking savage. We're gonna break this tier list into a couple of categories, and then I'm gonna give a overall number one at the very end. Category number one: the best looking, the prettiest, just as you walk in, the wow factor of the gym. Number two is going to be the best equipment. Now, not only in quality but also in range. Both are very important. You can have the best range in the world and the quality is shit, so it doesn't count, and vice versa. You can have really good quality, but if there's not much of it, again, you don't get the brownie points. Number three is the atmosphere, how you feel when you walk in, the members the atmosphere in the gym, the communal aspect of the gym, and the overall just how the feel of the gym is, as I've been to every single one of these gyms and I have a little bit of a feeling for it. Number four, we're going to go with the logo. I'm just going to throw that in there because I reckon every good establishment has a half decent logo. And then finally, we're just going to go and put a number one slot in place and try and rank them 1 to 5 in an order that I have made up. So don't be getting fucking salty if your gym is on the list and I'm after fucking slating you. Do you hear me? So starting off with number one, my gym, Galway City Gym. We're going to crack that in. So we're going with the best looking gym. Now, Galway City Gym isn't a pretty gym by no stretch of the imagination. It is not a pretty gym. It is a rugged, old school bodybuilding, powerlifting kind of gym. You walk up the stairs and the carpet is like fucking ancient, and you've got this like graphic on the wall that's like, you could have a little bit more kind of detail into it, but ultimately you walk in, there's trophies on the wall, there's pictures of previous bodybuilders and the stage photos and all that. So it does kind of create a nice kind of wow factor. You do walk up, the reception's right there, and you can kind of just see the gym. So does it give me a wow factor? No. But is it cool, and does it get brownie points for the trophies and all the plaques on the wall? I think it does. So I'm going to be modest. I'm going to stick you in A tier. If it's not your cup of tea, if you're the yummy mummies or the fellow with the high cholesterol, this probably isn't going to wow you. But for anyone who's into their lifting, or anyone who kind of vaguely pays attention to bodybuilding and sports, strongman, powerlifting, that kind of thing, it does have a good heritage and it lets you know straight away. Next up, we have the Warehouse Gym. Now, this isn't really fair because there's three gyms, three different locations with three completely different feels. So I'm going to just be taking the best of all three. The Warehouse Gym is literally the prettiest gym in Galway. The Knocknacarra newest warehouse is honestly one of the nicest gyms I've ever been in regards to looking. And it does give you that wow factor. And you go to Oranmore, not as much of a wow factor when you walk in, but again, you start looking out the windows when you're doing your cardio and you can just see Galway Bay. You start questioning yourself, am I in a 5-star hotel here, penthouse, or oh wait, I'm in a fucking gym? And so it is the most beautiful gym in Galway City. I have to give it an S tier. It really is a lovely, lovely gym. Now, the Merview gym, the current one, is a state. You have the gym, and then in the same building, you have like a kids club or some trampoline job, and like you're working out and you can just hear kids from the other side and they're running around. And like, I went in there not too long ago and I could just smell chicken nuggets from a party. So I'm not going to take points away from the S tier because Knocknacarra and Ormore really do shine, but Merview is not what it used to be. We have Planet. Planet's an interesting one. You walk in up the stairs and there's this tiny little reception area and you're kind of thinking, like, what the fuck is this? And then they buzz you in and you walk down and this rugged little hallway, and all of a sudden you look to your left and boom, it like blows up and there's a massive room there and it goes deep and around and you're like, Jesus. And then you keep going down the hall and then all of a sudden the main room opens up and you thought the last one was big, but all of a sudden you look to your right and it's just a dumbbell rack that doesn't end. You've got squat racks that just fucking go on and on. So to keep it there, I am going to have to put it in the same category as Galway City Gym. It does give me that little bit of a wow factor. Maybe more so than Galway City Gym, to be honest with you, in regards to the gym itself. Hustle is almost in the same category, to be honest with you. I think it's similar to the Planet, where you walk in, you know, there's some young bucko at the reception and standing beside a coffee machine, and you're kind of thinking to yourself like, oh, okay, yeah, sound. And then you go through the little arch, and then all of a sudden, boom, massive warehouse, like the old warehouse used to be, and it's just like these high ceilings, massive amount of treadmills that just go on. Then you go into the next little bit, and it's just like two warehouses gelled together, and there's another dumbbell rack that goes on for ages. So I'm going to be nice, man. I'm going to stick it in the same A tier. I'm not here to slate gyms. I genuinely think it's a really good looking gym, truth be told. Gold's Gym for me, in regards to looks, isn't up to par with the guys on the list so far. It's, again, you go up the stairs, little reception, and then it kind of just swoops around to the side. My first impression is it's very grey. Now, Hustle Fitness is very grey, but it's open and there's lights in it. It just it does its part with Hustle. Goals, on the other hand, has a short ceiling. The lighting is okay, but it just seems very dull in there, and a good splash of colour wouldn't do that place any harm. I'm not going to be too rough with you, but I am going to stick you in B tier. And look, guys, it's not about how it looks, but in this list it is. Next up on the list, we have equipment, both quality and variety, choice, that kind of jazz. Starting off with Hustle, quite a lot of variety. In fairness, again, very big gym, a lot of fucking space to play with. I think they use too much space up on the cardio machines. That is my opinion. Obviously, man, I'm no cardio bunny, so... But this is where they fall down. Yes, they have the dumbbell rack that goes on, and yes, they have a lovely free weights area. The squat racks are in huge numbers, but the quality of their machines does make them take a back step. I was using a couple of their machines, and while I do like some of them just, I don't know, personal opinion, I just don't think they're as smooth as they need to be. I don't know if they're upkeeped well. They're not dirty by no means, but they're just not oiled enough or anything like that. I'm not going to slate you, but I am going to stick you in a rough B tier, because for me, like, again, you can have all the cool machines and the cool variety, but if I'm trying to target a certain muscle group and the machine isn't providing me with that stimulus that I'm looking for, I don't care how pretty it is or how new it is, it's just not good enough for me. Plus, some of the cables were just a bit wishy-washy for me. I know they cheaped out on some of those cables, that Chinese crap, but for me, respectfully, B tier. You did a lot of things right, you could improve on some of the areas. Planet for me is absolutely S tier. I think this place is phenomenal in regard to exercise equipment selection. The quality is absolutely, they didn't cheap out on the quality. They did deliver the best of the best for their members. The variety of different equipment is absolutely second to none. Like I mentioned, the squat racks take over the full back wall. This deserves an S tier. Absolutely fantastic. The warehouse gym breaks my heart a little bit, as back in the day, the OG warehouse gym back in Merview, when it was the first building. If you know, you know. The machines there were primal strength. Now, their colors, warehouse, is green and black, but the equipment was like red and black, and it didn't go with the theme of colors. And somewhere along the line, they started swapping out the primal strength red stuff. I believe your man sold off all the equipment for good dosh, in fairness, he's a businessman. And brought in all this Chinese cheap crap that was color coded with the gym's theme, and that was their biggest downfall. Now, fast forward to the gym that you can actually go to today, they've carried that on. Now, I previously worked in the warehouse gym in Oranmore, and from day one, we were building the equipment ourselves. There wasn't a guy who came in and built it for us. So, and I know myself, there were screws missing. Like, we'd finished building like a fucking machine, and I'm left with like 20 screws. Like, well, where the fuck do these go? And like the cables were a little bit cheap, and while the variety is second to none, I actually think the variety is better than Planet. The quality of the machines specifically does take a downfall. The dumbbells are absolutely 10 out of 10. The squat racks are 10 out of 10. You know, they've done a huge amount of things right with the machines, and, or excuse me, with the free weights. But it does take a back step for me. I am going to have to downgrade you to B tier, simply because I don't care what color my equipment is. I just want it to work well. Gold's Gym, I'm going to stick you in A tier. They know they can't fuck around here. They cannot cheap out at this stage of the journey. They came into the race late. They're the newest gym of the crowd we have on the list, and they're in a competitive market. And ultimately, if they came in day one and their machines are cheap shit from China, they're already losing members, and they needed to hit the ground running with very good impressions. They really did know what they were doing, and the two owners, in fairness to them, Ross and, God forgive me, the other girl, I can't fucking remember her name. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to buy equipment, and they get themselves in an A tier. Galway City Gym gives me mixed emotions. The equipment is the best on the list by far. This old school techno gym stuff is just the smoothest I've ever seen. I've been to gyms all around the world, and there's just nothing that can beat this old school techno gym. They do not make equipment like this anymore. That shit back built in the 90s and fucking probably the 80s was built to fucking last. But there is only one of more or less everything, and some of the newer stuff they brought in, like there's an incline chest press that it's just gonna fuck your shoulder up. It's an injury waiting to happen. There's only one deadlift platform. There's only 2 squat racks. The freeway area frustrates me. I've tried offering some piece of, my opinion or advice in regards to, like, if I'm doing my dumbbell incline press here and there's a guy squatting in the squat rack in front of me and his ass is in my face, there's really a better way to do that. I think where the dumbbells are in the gym, like I'm lying back here on my flat press and my dumbbells are here, and some kid's coming around and he's trying to pick up a 50 behind me. Like, that is inches away from me getting a 50 kilo dumbbell through my skull. So it's a love-hate relationship. The machines are fantastic, but yeah, I'm gonna have to stick you in A tier. Call me biased. I do think there's a lot of work to be done. What they have is amazing. Could they improve? Absolutely. Next up on the list, we have gym atmosphere. How the gym makes you feel, what the environment is like, how the members interact together. I have been a gym member and a staff member of both Galway City Gym and the Warehouse Gym. I've been a member in the Planet Gym, and I've only done day passes in Hustle and Goals. So bear with me with this one. Starting off with Galway City Gym. The atmosphere is second to none. Again, call me biased, but I'm actually speaking from the heart here. I've never really seen a gym quite like this. Possibly the very first Warehouse Gym was very close to what this is, whereby everyone knows everyone. It's one of the smaller gyms in Galway. When a new face comes in, he's highlighted, and he is welcomed by both the staff members and the members themselves, especially if he doesn't really know what he's doing. It's one of those gyms where, like, the videos you see on Instagram and that, where like there could be a guy going to failure on a bench and some random member comes in and starts spotting him and driving him on. That is exactly what this gym represents. This atmosphere goes into S tier. Lads in their 80s all the way down to teenagers, and the 80-year-olds are sharing stuff with the teenagers, and like even some of the younger PTs are sharing stuff back up to the 80s, and it's just this really fucking beautiful chemistry that they have under this roof. And honestly, it's nothing like I've ever seen before. The Warehouse Gym's atmosphere, if I was to rate it back in the day, my very first commercial gym outside of a leisure centre, it was exactly like the way I've highlighted Galway City Gym. It was a community. I came in as a 15-year-old boy, with my new big gains in, and the staff members took me under their wing, and the members, just as long as you showed up, a couple of times a week, they got to know your face, and it was genuinely such a good community. Now, I'm not rating that gym. I'm rating the gym that I now know today, the one that you can go to. And it's been watered down. It used to be under one roof, and now they have 3 establishments, so the members have scattered a bit. You're starting to get a lot of like students influx. It's kind of like an influencer gym. All the OG staff members are no longer there anymore. For me personally, it's a shell of what it used to be. It has its place if you're a content creator, if you are an influencer, if you are a guy who isn't afraid to be on camera. It's definitely a good place for you, but it is a shell of what it used to be. It does make me sick. I am going to have to stick you in C tier. Planet, I think I'm going to stick you in B tier. No one really knows anyone. It's very student biased, as it's in the middle of town. You've got young lads walking around with their fucking WLS sticking out, and it is a bit of a weird dynamic, that gym. I was a member there for a while. You do have a powerlifting club in there, which the community there is rock solid. The staff members are rock solid, but the atmosphere as a member just isn't there for me. Hustle Fitness, I genuinely don't know. I know they got a good group of boys in there. I'm gonna have to rate you in B tier, similar to Planet, maybe slightly off Planet, but again, that's not me knowing, that's me observing from a distance. Goals Gym, I'm gonna stick you in A tier. Again, like I said, the 2 owners have pushed the community aspect. They're pushing their staff members' businesses, I think the way they run the gym, the way they handle their staff, the way they handle social media, they do like member of the month. Like they really are pushing for a community aspect, and I reckon give that a couple more years and that'll be on par with Galway City Gym. Next up on the list you have logos. Every cool establishment has a cool logo. Take my third eye logo for instance. There's a lot of thought that went into that. It's an eye with a third eye. So we're going to take a look at some of these logos. Coming in, we're going to start from the far side. Galway'S Gym, I think not bad. I think they could have done a little bit better. The name is okay. For me personally, I think the logo, they let the ball slip a little bit more. They could have, maybe have got onto me or, Control Alt Media, DM for customized logos. They could have done a little bit better, I think. They're selling merch, with jumpers and all that stuff with just the G. Not bad. I don't think it's bad. It's, to look at it from the naked eye, it's aesthetic. I don't think it catches it though, from a brand standpoint. They didn't really do it for me. Next up with Hustle. Hustle didn't bother their arses at all. They just picked a font, fair play for sticking in the little, full stop there at the end. They must have just went on to Microsoft Word and just went, right, what font is cool? Boom, pick that one. Practical, definitely not eye-catching. Planet gets a little bit more brownie points. I'm not blown away by it by no stretch of the imagination. I think they could have did a little bit more with like the Planet aspect of things. Just an FYI though, this is not the same Planet as the one in America. In America, this is not the same one. Maybe it's under the same umbrella, but it's not like if you drop a deadlift, the honk alarm goes off, and like it's not that kind of gym. Warehouse Gym takes the cake. I think having the little warehouse in the warehouse is quite cool. They sell hoodies, they sell jumpers, of which I've bought a few in the past. Not overly impressed, but it's definitely the best on the list so far. Next up on the list, we have Galway City Gym. Now, this is a weird logo, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna stick you in A tier above Planet, and let me tell you why. Now, the logo itself, I absolutely don't like at all. It's this weird, skinny, awkwardly drawn man. It just doesn't look good, but where it gets its brownie points, if I saw this logo on a t-shirt without any writing, I would know it's Galway City Gym. I understand that there is no logo that's similar to this, and I would fully understand that this is Galway City Gym's logo. While I personally don't like the man who does this, you have to give him points for the originality. This is also the oldest gym in Galway, so I'd imagine whoever designed this was, back in the 90s with a pen and paper, or, do you know what I mean? And finally, I'm going to rank the very best gym in Galway, in my opinion, based on my experiences, both working in gyms, getting day passes, and everything that I've just listed. Starting off with Hustle Fitness, because I have to stick one in every single box, I am going to stick it in D tier, simply because I don't know enough about the gym, I don't know the owners, I don't know the staff. The equipment and all that is good. Yes, you need work on your logo, but I just don't know enough about it for me to rank it any higher than the guys that are below. Galway'S Gym, I'm gonna have to stick you in C tier, simply because you're a new kid on the block. While I think the community aspect and the owners are absolutely second to none, and you can always tell a lot about a business by looking at their owners, and their owners really do give a fuck, and they've survived COVID, they've had the balls to actually open a gym in this day and age, which, to be fair, gyms are very hard to make profitable. So I think they have a bright future. I think in years to come, they will dominate this list. But as it stands right now, I'm going to have to rate you a C. Planet, I'm going to put you in A tier, because the only reason you're not in S tier for me is because how busy it is. There is an owner somewhere in a back office rubbing his fingers in a nice three-piece suit somewhere fucking off to the Bahamas, making so much money on his members, and he hasn't really given a fuck about the original starting members. Like, I was a member there, and the reason I left this place is because it was just too busy. It got busier and busier and busier and busier, to the point where training there was so fucking sour, and it just wasn't enjoyable for me, and I was waiting around for machines, and while they do so many things right, that one vital aspect of not having a decent community and just being way too fucking busy, just for me, I'm going to have to stick you in A tier. Warehouse Gym, if it was the old one, you'd be straight up the top, but because in recent times, and just to see how it's been diluted over the last couple of years, for me personally, if the machines aren't going to do what I fucking need them to do, I just, like, it's, you know what I mean? I don't care how pretty your gym is, I don't care all the cool shiny lights on the roof. It just doesn't live up to the hype anymore, and ultimately I still have a sour taste in my mouth from what it used to be, the community back in the old Warehouse Gym. It's a shell of what it used to be, and respectfully, it's in B tier. And that leaves Galway City Gym in A tier. Would you see it any different? Now, again, call me biased, but the reason I've done this is because not only have they got the community aspect right, not only have the staff members all been there for years, and not only is it the oldest gym in Galway, it has true performance and athletic roots. It's a non-profit gym. There isn't a guy in the Bahamas rubbing his fingers. Heritage and the past members are all on the wall, and all the board members, like, they do so many things right. And while there's so many improvements this gym needs, the equipment that they have works so fucking well. They listen to their members, and ultimately they just really give a fuck. And for me, you know, as a gym that I go to fucking 7, 8, 9, 10 days a week, it needs to tick more boxes than not. Is it the prettiest? No. Is there improvements to be made? Yes. But by God, I genuinely fucking enjoy it. Out of all the gyms I've been to on the list, I've been a member in Planet, Warehouse, and Galway City Gym, and multiple others that aren't on this list. I thoroughly enjoy going there the most. It is genuinely the most inspiring place. It is just fulfilling. It's 101 different things. And for me personally, it gets the S. So tell me, are you butthurt? Did I hurt your feelings? Are you in one of these gyms that maybe you would rank a little bit higher? Tell me, let me know in the comments. Where did I go wrong? What are your opinions in regards to the logos, in regards to the overall rankings? Let me know. I'd actually love to know your reasons, and give me a why. Don't be just listing something off without a why. I genuinely love to know, specifically the guys in goals and hustle that I don't know much about. Give me your reasons why, and if you have liked the video, drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.